Приветствую всех. Я Ирина GOSHKETELIANI, профессор из Батумского университета. Я с моим соавтором представлю сегодня тему на английском языке. И всем желаю всего наилучшего.
Спасибо. Мы вас слушаем.
Ketevan Ardzenadze, пожалуйста.
Please.
To share. So hello again. So I'll be presenting the topic. So I'll be presenting the presentation about the topic emotional markers in the discourse of elections. So to begin with, so we'll be presenting contrastive analysis of the linguistic features of emotional markers used in Georgian and American election discourse, including the markers of hatred, anger, and violence that affect society. And as for the aims of the presentation is to identify and generalize the main linguistic features that are used in political discourse to have the expressiveness in their speeches or have the influence on the listener. So from this point of view, language is a vital part of the process of the politicians selling themselves as a brand new product that is much better than the old one. One way of selling the product is creating catchy slogans. And in this case, we will discuss two examples from American and Georgian political discourse. One, our best days still lie ahead. And from the Georgian one, we've got principal choice, freedom, development, and dignity. So I should move on. So another way to express emotions, attitudes, and make an impact on the people is to load the speech with expressive adjectives and changing the meaning of the discourse from positive to the negative one. So let's bring some examples again. So the worst attack we've got from the English one, and another one is extraordinary times we are in. As for the Georgian example, we've got the most important, in this case, we've got adjectives used in superlative form. So let's go over some more examples. Again, in Georgian one, we've got interesting, and in the English one, we've got brightest, best trained. So in this case, we've got superlative forms of the adjectives that once again influence the speaker's attitude and makes the speech expressive. As we said, politicians usually use a set of linguistic units to persuade the listener, and it is usually achieved through using the expressive linguistic units, which add more persuasiveness to the text uttered by the politicians. And one more thing is that they usually use a set of stylistic devices. In this case, we will be discussing some of them, including antithesis, repetition, culmination, and anticlimax. Let's start with antithesis. This kind of device refers to the using two opposing elements. Let's go over to the examples. In this case, Joe Biden, we've got, we are not going to seek, but their actions will have consequences. As we see, we've got two opposing elements in this case. And as for the Georgian one, we've got she can practice the powers of the president, not in the interests of any political party, but in the interests of the country and the society. So we've got two opposing elements in both examples. Let's move on to the next linguistic stylistic device. This is repetition. So in this case, repetition is one and the same word or phrase that are expressed in the discourse, repeating several times in the sentence or in the paragraph. So as for the examples, we've got moving. So America is moving forward. So we've got the verb moving repeating twice. And in Georgian one, we've got, this is my decision, the decision that I have thought about a lot. Again, we've got the repeating word decision that highlights the speaker's purpose, speaker's attitude, and makes the speech more expressive. And as for the next stylistic device, this is culmination. In this case, we'll be discussing on emotional culmination. So it represents a row of synonyms with emotive meaning gradually increased in the discourse. So as for the examples, we've got, this is my decision, the decision that I have thought about a lot. And again, we've got repeating phrases. It is a very big responsibility, and again, it is very difficult to come to a decision. As we see in this case, emotional culmination is achieved through repeating the phrases in the paragraph, not repeating the words in the sentence. As for the English one, we've got, they are all running around like chickens with their heads cut off with boxes. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. In this case, we've got this repetition of the ideas. One is idiom that again itself is used to make the influence on the listener and show the speaker's attitude and emotions. Let's move on to the next part. This is anticlimax, and this kind of stylistic device represents an unexpected turn of the thought that defeats expectations of the reader or listener. As for the examples, we've got, and by the way, does anybody believe that Joe had 80 million votes? And we will just continue the sentence. And again, another highlighted phrase is, it's a disgrace, and their elections are more honest than what we've been going through in this century. As we see, so the last sentence, their elections are more honest than what we've been going through in this century, is opposing one, and it's just the it's just defeats our expectation that is mentioned in the previous part of the sentence. And by the way, and it's a disgrace. As for the Georgian example, we've got, so the example is about the presidents. So it's about choosing the woman as a president. Even today, we are taking a progressive step. Again, it's about the defeating expectations of the listener. So the examples discussed above shows that the political discourse is persuasive and expressive, and it is mainly achieved through the stylistic devices and those sets of grammatical structures, maybe lexical units that are used to make an influence on the listener. So we can just move on to the conclusion part. So English and Georgian political discourses are characterized by expressiveness, and election discourse is one of the main types of political texts. As we have discussed some examples, all those examples are from the election discourse. Politicians in both discourses use lexical items effectively to emphasize political attitudes and opinions and manipulate public opinion. From the nominative unit, adjectives are characterized by expressiveness, which are mostly presented in the English text with a superlative form, which is itself reinforces the importance of the opinion conveyed in the discourse. We had some examples: the best trained, or the best, the most important. Then, so to make an influence on the people, politicians usually use a set of lexical units characterized by emotions, expressiveness, and persuasiveness. When it comes to elections, all these characteristics help the politicians make the people vote for them. Again, this is one more thing about persuading the society. The importance of the speaker is often related to influence and persuade the listener. This is mainly achieved through the use of expressive linguistic units, which add more persuasiveness to the text uttered by the speaker. And commonly used linguistic stylistic devices are antiseries, repetition, culmination, and anticlimax.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Майя, я могу попросить вас дальше продолжить конференцию до 4. 4 adamı geziş kalır mı? Ага. Eşitilmiyor. Вас не слышно.
Ne dediniz hocam tekrar?
Siz 4 adamı Gürcüce olur mu? Siz deyip durun. Kimden sonra kim iken?
Şimdi onlara ne zaman onlar katılacaklar? Şimdi hemen mi?
Bundan sonra yana Dilder, Nava, Natalya deyin.
Natalya, Nana
Süleyman şimdi gelir. Süleyman yana gelir. Хорошо.
Tamam. Onlar şimdi bunlar katılıyorlar artık.
Burada yazılıp da kimler? Siz deyin.
Bot Natalya Surguladze burada.
Yok, siz bu kim tamam olanda siz deyirsiniz. Yaxşı?
Tamam. Ben onlara çağıracağım eğer siz isterseniz. Tamam, teşekkürler.
Sağ ol.